200-meter dash, first heat underway.
There goes Karen. He's taking second. The throw, the slide, not in time. He's safe.
We'll spike it over and get a point for the Red Hawks.
Strike three. He got him looking.
And that'll be another point for the Red Hawks.
Good afternoon and welcome to Westfield State University, where the Western Mass Class B final is about to be underway. It's a beautiful day. Hopefully it won't rain later, but it's a beautiful day for perhaps one of the biggest softball games of the year so far. The Frontier Red Hawks will be facing off against the Hampshire Raiders. For the Red Hawks, this is a payback game. They lost to the Raiders earlier this season. It's their only loss on the season. And more importantly, Hampshire was the team that knocked Frontier out of the state tournament last season. It was a 10-1 game, crushing victory by the Raiders back last season in the quarterfinals of Division IV. But for Hampshire, this is a legacy moment for them and their head coach, Brian McGann. He's been here for 19 seasons, and this is his chance to go back-to-back yet again in the Western Mass title. I'm your play-by-play announcer for today's game, Mason Smith, joined by Tom Albert, who's doing a lot of multitasking today. Yeah. Credit to you, Tom. But I've been looking forward to this for a couple days, ever since I learned that this could be a possible matchup. This is the matchup that I wanted, that I think most people wanted, and I think they're going to give us a good show today.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game. I mean, definitely, I feel like Frontier this year is definitely a better team than they were last year.
Absolutely.
Somehow, even with younger players, they've been playing a lot better, Mason. And this is the game this is definitely a revenge game for them after the state tournament run from last year.
Absolutely, Tom. It's high stakes for them, high pressure, a lot of emotions coming into this game too, which makes it all that much more interesting. But you mentioned a great point for Frontier, which has been kind of their hallmark and what they've become known for this whole season, is the youth of their team. They have so many players that are just so young and somehow performing so well. One of the shining stars of this young team is Riley Tyne, who's an 8th grader, picked up the starting catching position from Delaney Fifield, who graduated last year and was an incredible catcher for this softball program at Frontier Regional. And Riley Tyne in her first year has maybe not surpassed, but certainly met those huge shoes that she's had to fill for Fifield. She leads the team in hits and RBIs as an 8th grader, Tom.
Yeah, and what's interesting today, she's usually in the 4th spot in the lineup, but Coach Dean, he's put her in the 2nd spot, so that's definitely a change in the lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of changing the lineups around a little bit, Skylar Steele got bumped down to 3rd behind Riley Tyne. She had a bit of a slower game 2 days ago in the semifinals against Wacona. All kinds of faith still in her hitting from Coach Dean, of course, but he saw a lot of promise from Riley Tyne. She performed especially well in that game. And so those are the kind of game-to-game adjustments that you're going to make. But for Hampshire, who are the defending Western Mass champions, they beat South Hadley last year 1-0 in the Western Mass Class B finals. They are coming into this game 15-5 on the season. Those 5 losses all coming in independent games against teams who are all divisions higher than them. So they're really shooting high in their scheduling. They're ranked 2nd in Division IV, and they're led by 3 sisters, Tom, the Dubays. Ryan Dubay, who will be starting in the circle today for the Raiders. You have Reagan Dubay, who is the catcher behind the plate, and at second base, it's Kaylin Dubay, the youngest of the 3, who's only a sophomore. She will be at second base today. All of them incredible talents, serious athletes, and they are the fuel for this Hampshire Raider team.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game, Mason. Two excellent teams going up against each other, and this is definitely one for the ages. So
We'll go down to the field now for the starting lineups and the national anthem here at Westfield State Softball Diamond on Frontier Community Access Television.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Westfield State University for today's Western Mass Class B Final, featuring the number 2 seed Frontier Redhawks and the number 1 seed Hampshire Regional Raiders. The PVIAC would like to thank Pioneer Valley Financial for their support throughout our Western Mass tournaments and for providing our championship trophies. Participating student athletes, coaches, and contest officials have worked diligently to prepare for today's competition. Please show your appreciation by demonstrating good sportsmanship and respect for all in attendance. Ensure that your behaviors reflect the values that should be identified with these student athletes. Assume responsibility for your behavior and the behavior of those around you. If you require assistance, please call upon an MIAA school or security official. Any verbal, written, or physical conduct related to race, gender, ethnicity, disability, sexual orientation, or religion shall not be tolerated. Could subject the violator to ejection and may result in penalties being assessed for your team. Our great nation has persevered through the leadership and sacrifices of men and women who have served or are currently serving in our armed forces. We invite both veterans and current military personnel to stand. We thank you for your service to our country. Now let's meet today's participants. First, for the visiting Frontier Redhawks, the reserves. Number 15, Charlie Bishop. Number 13, Eva Campbell. Number 20, Liam Eady. Number 6, Lindsay Hawkins. Number 9, Michaela Kingsley. Number 12, Natalie Wells. And number 2, Sadie Nichols. Here are your starters for Frontier. Leading off at second base, number 1, Haley Doucette Kaplan. The catcher for Frontier is number 7, Riley Tyne. At shortstop, number 10, Skylar Steele. In the circle for Frontier is number 21, Rain Wanzi. At first base, number 14, Lexi Hawkins. In left field, number 16, Adi Ely. The designated player is number 4, Bella Orell. At third base, number 11, Abigail Schreiber. In right field, number 8, Olivia Peabody. And in center field, number 3, Maggie Nichols. Frontier is coached by Gary Dean. Now for the home team, Hampshire Raiders. The reserves, number 10, Charlotte Carr. Number 16, Mackenzie Provost. Number 18, Taylor St. Pierre. Number 77, Maddie Ryder. Number 24, Alana Gomez. Number 21, Kennedy Mulvaney. and number 23, Riley Hogan. Here are your starters for the Raiders. Leading off in center field, number 7, Rachel Hickok. At shortstop, number 15, Lucy Trombley. Catching, number 33, Reagan Dubé. At first base, number 11, Mariah Pansanella. The designated player is number 8, Reagan Hartzman. In the circle for the Raiders is number 1, Ryan Dubé. In left field, number 13, Allie St. Pierre. In right field, number 2, Caroline Payson. At second base, number 13, Kaylin Dubé. And at third base, number 3, Chelsea Vaness. The Raiders are coached by Brian McGann. The umpires for today's game, we have a special guest, but Mike Duclos, Joe Gary, and in his final game after 40 years of contributions to this sport, Mr. Rene Arsenault will be behind the plate. Thank you, Mr. Arsenault, for years of service and professionalism. Let's play ball.
First inning going to be underway soon as the teams retreat to their dugouts for the last huddles and pep talks from their coaches and teammates before this Western Mass final. Last season, the Red Hawks were not able to get to the final game for Western Mass. They were knocked out in the semifinals by South Hadley, who went on to lose 1-0 to this very same Hampshire Raiders team. First three up for the Red Hawks in their batting order is the second baseman, Hallie Doucette-Kaplan, the catcher, Riley Tyne, and the shortstop, Skylar Steele. Out in the field for Hampshire, the pitcher, as usual, is Ryan Dubé, who's coming off of a complete game pitched in that win that they had in the semifinals just 2 days ago against Chicopee. That was a 2-1 win. She didn't give up a single earned run in that game. That one run that came home for the Pacers was scored on an error. 2 balls and 16 strikeouts in 7 innings pitched for Ryan Dubé. She is going to be pitching to her sister, Reagan Dubé, who's behind the plate. At first base, it's Mariah Passanella. Kaylin Dubé at second base. Lucy Trombley at short. Chelsea Vaness at third. Allison St. Pierre in left field. Center field is Rachel Hickox. And Caroline Payson is starting over in right. Reserves waiting in the dugout for both teams, and we'll give you the fielding positions for the Red Hawks when they take the field in the bottom of the first. As we said, Tom, in the pregame, this is a high-stakes game and a lot of emotion going into this, especially for the Red Hawks. For Hampshire, this needs to be a routine game for them. They've beat this team before. They've got their eyes set on the state tournament. That's where they want to be. That's where they want to make their statement heard in this season. They need to stay in their rhythm to win this game. First pitch from Ryan Dubé, and Haley Doucette-Kaplan fires it. It's off the glove of Dubé at second base. And an error. Not even sure you could call it an error, but never really was in her glove, Tom.
No, that was just a really hard hit ball, and what a way to start it for the Red Hawks from Haley Doucette-Kaplan, Mason.
That was a rocket of a ground ball, and now we're getting ourselves a treat here. It's Riley Tyne who is coming up to bat for the Red Hawks. Class of 2030. And she will send that one into center left. Going back, and the catch is made. Beautiful job at center field by Rachel Hickox. And Tom, we've heard many updates in the pregame to this one of another game that's been happening at Holyoke. And I'll give you the final score of that game between Greenfield and Lennox in just a moment as Skylar Steele is coming to the plate here. Skylar Steele, one of the best hitters for Frontier, sees her first pitch outside. It's ball one. First time that a batter today is going to have to face more than one pitch from Ryan Dubé after the first two batters for Frontier made contact with the first pitch that they saw. Low pitch again as a ball. Final score, Tom, is 3-2 after 17 innings.
Jeez.
Greenfield baseball wins the Western Mass title.
Let's go, Greenfield.
Big Greenfield fan over here in Tom Albert. Strike one called against Skylar Steele. Nice rowdy crowd here today, Tom. Plenty loud, spurred along by the dugouts for both of these teams. Frontier certainly louder than Hampshire at the moment. And that's going to be strike two. Steele now 2-2 on the count. Important to mention, she hasn't struck out once this whole season. There was a couple times where she stared down a two-strike count in the semifinal game. Here's one now. She'll take a pitch very high, a late release from Ryan Dubé, and now it's a full count. Payoff pitch with one out. Swung on and fouled off behind the stands.
Thank you, Mason.
Hopefully we don't see more rain today. It is slightly drizzling here. Some of our papers getting a little bit wet. Here's the 3-2 again, and barely got a piece of it.
Yeah, Skylar Steele's just doing a good job of holding on right now.
It looked for a second like she had struck out there, but it did deflect off the very top of her bat. Doucette-Kaplan took off for second and had to be waved back by the umpire. Here's the 3-2 once more, and it's in the dirt. Ball four.
And just an excellent eye there from Steele, Mason.
Another very good at bat from Skylar Steele. Runners on first and second for the Red Hawks. Raina Wanzi facing off against her fellow pitcher, Ryan Dubé. Dubé's delivery will be just a bit outside. Ball one against Wanzi. Wanzi is top three on the Red Hawks in two different hitting statistics. Check swing, and it's a strike anyway. She has the third best batting average on the team at .435 and the third most RBIs at 17, Tom.
Very impressive from Raina, and she's only a freshman, so.
And she's a pitcher as well. Not something you see very often. Pitcher that can perform so well at the plate offensively. 2-1 is the count. There's one out away here for the Hampshire Raiders. Dubé deals outside and high. It's ball three. Dubé having some issues early here, Tom, it seems, with control. Perhaps some nerves?
Yeah, maybe some nerves just going up against this Red Hawk team that is very well a great team. So,
and that will come in for a strike right at the letters.
Just back-to-back full count. So we'll see if Dubé can win this one.
Wanzi's only struck out 5 times this whole season. in 63 plate appearances. That one's going to be hammered center field at the warning track, and it falls at the wall. Coming around third is Doucette Kaplan. Throw to home is going to be waved off. Frontier scores first in the top of the first inning. Still only one out, and there's runners on second and third.
Yeah, and the bench just exploded there, Mason. Very excited there with a bomb from Reyna out in the center field.
And as we switch out for pinch runners here for Reyna Wanzi, there's going to be an infield meeting by the Hampshire Raiders.
Yeah, probably just a calm debate down there.
Lexi Hawkins now up to bat for the Red Hawks. Hawkins had a pretty good showing yesterday, or 2 days ago, excuse me. A pitch will come in high as a ball. Good eyes so far from the Red Hawks batters, as it's Maggie Nichols who is the courtesy runner for Reyna Wanzi, who's sitting in the dugout after her big double. That comes in as a strike two. Excuse me, strike one. A lot of action early on here. Swing and a miss for strike two. And that's strike three, looking.
Yeah, just a good pitch there from Dubé.
Addie Ely coming to the plate now. She had some struggles yesterday. 3 at-bats and 3 strikeouts, Tom.
Yeah, bit of a rough game for Addie there, but just got to come into this game and every at-bat being a new one.
He'll take a low pitch for ball one here. Ely's been pretty good so far this season. As you said, Tom, it seemed like it was just an off day for her on those 3 strikeouts against McComish of Wacona. Here's Dubé, who deals a strike on the inside edge.
Yeah, and it would be nice for Addie to get on here. Base it, could score 2, Mason.
Really good opportunity for the Red Hawks. And she'll take strike 2. Steele on third and Nichols on second. One, two, the count, 2 outs. Dubé deals. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And after giving up 1 run off of Reyna Wanzi's RBI double, the Raiders will retreat to the dugout and come back out with their bats swinging when we come back in the bottom of the first. You're watching Frontier Community Access Television. After a 1-run top of the first from the Red Hawks, I'd call that a success in their eyes, Tom. That's kind of just how they wanted to start things. A lot of offensive pressure. Now they fall back on defense, and they're going to put their bets on Raina Wanzi to try and guide them through the rest of this game.
Yeah, I mean, Raina's a great pitcher, and she has a good defense behind her. So the Raiders, but we know the Raiders can hit the ball pretty dang well.
Absolutely, they can. They are a very big threat at the plate. Raina Wanzi, the freshman, having a lot of work cut out for her today. Leadoff hitter is Rachel Hickox, and she walks into a strike there. There's that approach that we saw from Abby Schreiber in the game 2 days ago in Frontier's semifinal matchup where you walk into the pitch. She does it again, and she gets called for strike 2.
Yeah, it's definitely. I've never tried it when I played baseball, so it's definitely very difficult, I would presume.
That one will be a ball as she walks fully out of the batter's box. Hickox leads the team in most batting statistics, including plate appearances, batting average, hits, and walks. And that will be strike 3.
Strikeout looking, and good way to pick off right where Raina left off just 2 days ago.
Hickox looked back at the dugout in some confusion after that call. But then she had a conversation with Lucy Trombley at the plate now. She grounds one to steal. Throw to first is in time. "6-3 ground out for Lucy Trombley, and 2 batters up and 2 outs gone for the Redhawks. Again, some good conversation here between teammates, Tom. I'll give some good credit there for Hampshire. They've built themselves a great team culture, especially when you see the batters talking to each other to figure out this pitcher. But Raina Wanzi is just dealing. Strike 1 called against the catcher, Reagan Dubé. Swing and a miss again.
It's just straight heat from Raina right now.
Well, this is a rare sight to see. First time that Wanzi is pitching to one of the Dubé sisters in today's game. That one will be outside. Dealt her 2 pretty serious fastballs. Reagan Dubé with the most RBIs on this Raiders roster with 31. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. She got her. A stone-cold performance in the bottom of the first for Raina Wanzi, and it stays 1-0. Frontier on top after 1. We'll be back with the second inning on Frontier Community Access Television. Maggie Nichols will be the first batter up for the Redhawks in this top of the second. Ryan Dubé back in the circle for the Hampshire Raiders. She gave up 1 run in the first inning, and then her counterpart, Raina Wanzi, pitched to 3 batters and struck out 2 of them for a great 1-2-3 inning. And pardon me, folks, this is Bella Orrell who is up to the bat first. We have a situation with our scorecards that we were given. It's designated flex players is what they're called. And I don't know the full definition of them, Tom, but the gist of it is she fouls one back. It's an 0-2 count now. Bella Orrell was listed as the flex player for Maggie Nichols, who is the center fielder. And so they can kind of just go between the two of them, whoever they want to be hitting.
Yep.
This will be ball 1 as it comes low and outside. It looked like Dubé was trying to get her to chase on that one, but some good nerves by Bella Orrell. Harrell swings and misses for the first out of this top of the second. Abby Schreiber coming up to bat now. Schreiber also one of those players who struggled in the semifinal game, Tom, but to give her a little bit of slack, she only had 2 at-bats. It was a strikeout and then a ground out that she had. And there's that walk-up approach that we saw in the bottom of the first from Hampshire. Schreiber does it as well. She gets a ball on her first pitch that she sees. She'll take a swing at that one, and it's 1-1.
And she is in the lefties batter's box, so.
That is technically a switch hitter for the Red Hawks, from my understanding, although I've heard a little more comfortable in the right-handed batter's box, but she takes another swing there. I think it's almost a front that they can put up, Tom. It's kind of a show that they can have, lingers in the pitcher's minds, maybe add a little bit of stress to them. Here's the 1-2. That one will be grounded to third base. Scooped up, thrown to first in time, and the out is made from Chelsea Vanass to Mariah Passanella. 2 away, and Olivia Peabody will be the third batter up in this inning. The 9-spot hitter for the Red Hawks. Dubé winds and deals, swing and a miss on that first pitch. Swing and a miss again. It seems like this bottom of the order could end up going down easy for Dubé, which might just give her a few batters she has to focus on. Here's the 0-2. That one will come up high. It's 1-2 now. Outside again. Working back in the count slowly is Peabody. 2-2 now.
Yeah, just a good eye from her there.
That ball ends up in the dirt, stopped barely by the Dubé sister who's behind the plate, Reagan. Ball comes back to Ryan Dubé. It's a full count here, 2 outs. Dealing to Peabody, and it's a swinging strikeout. 4th one of the day for Ryan Dubé. She might start heating up pretty quickly, Tom. Might be a good thing for the Red Hawks that they cashed in early, because they might not get a chance like that again. But we'll see when we get back to their top of the order. But first, we're going back to Hampshire's batting order, where they will have Passanella, Vanace, and Ryan Dubé starting off for us when we come back in the bottom of the second, right here on Frontier Community Access Television. At the plate now for the Raiders, Mariah Passanella, first baseman who cashed in her first put out of the game. Back at the top of the second. Wanzi on the rubber again. Will deal, and just a bit high from the motion of the umpire, who is celebrated before the opening pitch today. Renee Arsenal, if I heard his name correctly. Final game of his officiating career. And hopefully these athletes can give him a pretty good last game, Tom.
Yeah. I mean, they said that he's been doing it for 41 years, so very impressive.
Incredible. That one will land in the zone just at the bottom edge. 2-1 the count after Wanzi threw 2 balls to start off the at-bat. Hampshire trying to break through. That one will be fouled off and over the head of their first base coach. 2-2 is now the count against the first baseman. Chelsea Vinace waiting in at the wings. Wanzi takes her time on the rubber. Now she winds and deals low and inside. It's a full count to start things off for the freshman pitcher. A lot of pressure on the defense early that the Redhawks have put on themselves. They get an early lead, but now they have to defend it. Over the glove of Doucette Kaplan. Knocked down in right field, and it's a base hit off of a rocket of a line drive by Passanella. And you'll have to excuse me again, folks. This is not Chelsea Vinace who is up to bat. This is the flex players we mentioned in the top of this second inning for Hampshire, who takes a swing and a miss. Tyne fakes a throw down to first. But this is Reagan Horschman. Horschman not fielding today, but will be hitting for the time being for their third baseman. That pitch was a ball coming in low and inside. Horschman, an 8th grader, but with an impressive 367 average on the plate with over 63 plate appearances. That one's going to be popped up, staying in the dirt, now in shallow center, and it's caught by Doucette Kaplan for the first out.
Now batting the pitcher, number 1, Ryan Dubé.
Ryan Dubé facing off against her fellow pitcher, taking an aggressive approach as she takes a big hack at that first pitch, fouls it back for strike 1.
Yeah, you're good.
Wanzi winds and deals on the 0-1. Change-up falls in there for a strike. Not an inch of movement to take a hack at it from Ryan Dubé, but it snuck in the far corner of the zone. 2 strikes against Dubé. 1 out down and a runner on first for Wanzi. Chooses her pitch. Now she winds. Sent out center field. Coming in is Nichols. And she drops it in shallow center. Throw to second, not in time. And Nichols holding her head as the error will get another runner on base. And we have a courtesy runner coming on for the pitcher, Ryan Dubé. Allison St. Pierre up to bat with a runner on first and second. Strike 1 called against St. Pierre. That courtesy runner, number 18 for the Raiders. That one's grounded between her legs and into right field. A beautifully placed hit. Coming home, the delayed throw, and it's a tie game. Peabody waited and waited in right field and finally threw home, but it was too late. And the Raiders have tied this game up.
And now you have to think if the nerves are getting the Frontier Mason.
I think they just might be, Tom. Fouled back by Caroline Payson, who's now up to bat for the Raiders after that double to right field by Allison St. Pierre. Getting a little chilly here. So the game is taking a rough turn for the Red Hawks. Pitching into the dirt is Wanzi. She's only got one out on the board. Runners on second and third.
Yeah, base hit could score 2.
This is where Frontier found themselves in the top of the first inning. Now in the bottom of the second, Hampshire threatens to do what Frontier couldn't. A pitch outside makes it a 2-1 count. Wanzi really starting to take her time out in that circle. Deep breaths as she comes back into the rubber. Payson waiting, the right fielder. That one will come in low too. Looked like she was trying to deal a changeup, but released it a little too early, Tom.
Not good. I mean, this is a crucial at bat here.
(3-1) with one out. Here's Wanzi's pitch, and it's fouled back. She's got herself a full count. Just about the best place she could hope to be after some rough pitching.
Just got to dial back in.
Kaylin Dubé in the waiting on deck as the 9-spot hitter for Hampshire. Here's the payoff pitch. That one's going to be driven foul. Reaching for it quickly was Lexi Hawkins at first base, but it was foul from just about the moment it went off of her bat.
I can see they're trying to hit it into right field now, it looks like.
Bit of a pause here as the balls are changed out. Full count for Caroline Payson. She's back in the right-handed batter's box. Wanzi on the rubber. She winds and deals. It will be a ball, gets past time. The play at the plate is not in time. And Hampshire has taken their first lead of the game in the bottom of the second.
Yeah, and now Frontier's going to talk at the mound.
Players trying to console their pitcher who appears to be visibly flustered here, Tom. It's been all centered around her so far today. She's the one who knocked in the run for the Red Hawks with that big double, and she ends up being the one who lets in 2 runs on the other side of the ball as the pitcher.
Yeah, I mean, now you really just got to dial back in, and hopefully you have a good defense behind you. You just got to hopefully, honestly, try to get a strikeout here or hit into a double play.
Kaylin Dubé, the second baseman, at the plate here with just one out against her Raiders, and she gets hit.
Wow.
And some good aggressive showing there from the Raiders. Runner on third came all the way home because the ball got away from the catcher, but she's ushered back to third by the umpire.
Yeah, I was going to say. But that loads the bases, Mason, so.
Maybe the worst outcome for Wanzi here. She's seen 6 of the 9 batters on the lineup card in just this inning. And strike 1 will be called against Rachel Hickox. Perhaps the only consoling factor for her right now is that these are the 3 batters that these next 3 up are the 3 that she knocked out 1, 2, 3 in the bottom of the first inning. That one will be high for a ball. Great reflexes and a good reach by Riley Tyne to stop it from going over her head. A lot of pressure on her, too, the 8th grader behind the plate, Tom. Bases loaded, a run coming home. It could all end up on her head.
Yeah. That's exactly right, Mason.
High pitch again, and barely stopping it is Tyne. Showing off why she has the starting catcher spot for the Red Hawks. Infield playing very close, ready to field a bunt if necessary. That one's going to be fouled back. Strike 2 Good ground regained by Wanzi here. Still only 1 out against the Hampshire Raiders. But a good pitch from Wanzi could end up being a double play as well. That one will be high. It's ball 3. And Steele coming over to talk to her pitcher. Skylar Steele, one of the older girls on this roster. Wanzi takes a breath as she closes her eyes. A lot of pressure on this pitch in an early inning. Already a lead retaken by Hampshire. Here's the payoff pitch. That one's going to be sent foul along the third base side.
Good job staying alive there is Hickox.
Hickox with an OPS of 1.285, Tom. Impressive batting statistics from her. The full count pitch again, hammered right into the glove of Steele.
Wow.
And a double play.
What a
Heads up fielding from Skylar Steele. And the Redhawks barely escape by the skin on their teeth.
Yeah, I mean, that was just hit right to Steele, and she made a quick play there and threw it over to Abby Shriver at third. So an excellent job. And one of the coaches, I heard them say, anywhere but Steele. So
Yeah.
you did not want to hit it to Steele, and that's just where they hit it. So
She is probably the best all-around player on this roster for the Redhawks, and she comes up with a big play to contain the damage of what could have been a really catastrophic bottom of the second for the Redhawks. They're still in this game, though, Tom. 2-1 the score. We've seen some strengths and weaknesses, a couple errors from both teams, but we can take a second away from this game to look at a team that's waiting in the wings. The next team that's going to be playing in a Western Mass final right behind us is the Agawam softball team. And you had a little story on that for me before the game, Tom.
yeah, so they ran into some trouble as their administration didn't schedule the final game, and it took it all the way to court for them to be able to play in that game. So
pretty impressive story right there. A long-winded way to get to a Western Mass final, but they'll be playing against East Longmeadow after this game. High pitch to Doucette Kaplan as she smiles down the third base line to her head coach, Gary Dean. Swing and a miss for strike 1 against Doucette Kaplan. And Coach Dean in his 8th season here atop the Frontier softball program. It's been all kinds of upward momentum for them over the past 4 years to get to this point. Changeup comes in up high, and you could tell by her Haley's facial reaction that she was going to go after it, but then saw the speed and decided to lay off of it.
yeah, just an excellent move there by Hallie.
That one will be just a touch high. 3-1.
And the wind's starting to pick up
I
here.
was just about to mention, we don't have any flags around us, so we can't really say exactly which direction and how fast it's going. But that will be strike 2 against Doucette Kaplan. She's got herself into a full count. Encouragement from her coach, Dean.
And you got to swing at anything close here.
Dealing to the lefty. Check swing, and she punches her out anyway. Definitely looked like it landed in the zone, but it broke just a little bit to the outside is what I saw, Tom.
Yep.
Second spot in the order for the Redhawks, it's Riley Tyne. Strike 1 dealt to her. Tyne in her last at-bat in the first inning flew out on the first pitch that she saw to center field. Now she'll take strike 2 inside. She tried to jump away from it, but it still caught that corner. 0-2. Ryan Dubé starting to find her element. That one will come outside for a ball. That really seems to be her hallmark, Tom. She can drive it inside and challenge you, and then she'll try and get you to chase on the outside.
Yeah, I mean, she's done an excellent job at that, and that's why she has a lot of strikeouts.
That one will be grounded, foul, right past the hand of head coach Gary Dean. Smiling over at the head coach for Hampshire, Brian McGann. 1-2 pitch. Tyne takes strike 3, looking back-to-back Ks for Ryan Dubé. And actually make that back-to-back-to-back if you go back to the previous inning.
Yeah.
These past two have both been looking strikeouts. And now, here's the real challenge for a 1-2-3 inning for Ryan Dubé. Skylar Steele at the plate on the right-handed side. Here's the pitch to her. She'll take ball 1 low and outside.
And she knows that Skylar's a home run hitter, so she's not going to give her anything really that Skylar can get a hold of.
Steele in waiting. And that will be a strike as she jumped out of the way, but caught the inside edge of the plate anyway. Here's the 1-1. Check swing as it dropped off, and a really good eye from Steele. That looked for sure like it was going to come in right over the plate, but it just fell right off as it finally broke just a couple feet in front of the plate. That one comes into the dirt. It's 3-1. Redhawks find themselves trailing by 1 after a really successful inning against Reyna, excuse me. Tom's moving the umbrella around. Keep thinking of the rain instead of Reyna. Reyna Wanzi, they had a good inning against in the bottom of the second. Here's the 3-1, and Steele will get her base.
Ooh.
A great grab right there
Yeah,
from Ryan Dubé.
if she doesn't grab that, Steele was going to take off the second. So
Probably, yeah. She might. She was thinking about taking off to second even when it was behind the plate. Reyna Wanzi, who had that RBI double back in the first inning, responsible for the only run so far for the Redhawks, with Skylar Steele on first base. She'll take strike 1. Steele, perhaps the biggest threat on the base path out of anyone on this Redhawks roster. Maggie Nichols may be the only exception.
Yep.
But Steele, with 19 stolen bases on the season, hasn't been caught once. And that's strike 2. Only thing that can shut down a throw on a base path is getting the third out at home. Ryan Dubé just 1 strike away from doing that. No balls, 2 strikes in Dubé's favor. Back on the rubber. She winds and deals. Throw to second, and it's off of the glove. Going to third is Steele. Ball's in center field, and it's held up as Kaylin Dubé runs it in and holds her at third. So a stolen base by Steele, and then I'm not sure whether to call that a stolen base. It might just be an error on the shortstop.
Yeah.
It went off of her glove there.
I think that's just an error. But honestly, I think if the tag was there, if she had the ball, I think Steele would have been caught.
It was pretty close. Reagan Dubé definitely behind the plate for a reason for the Raiders. Not just because of her name. She certainly earned it. Just a little bit off target there. But that one's going to be drilled to the third baseman. Throw to first is in time. And the Raiders escape an aggressive steal on the base path. Redhawks could have had a run there, but some good defense keeps Hampshire in front for now. Going into the bottom of the third, Redhawks will look back to Reyna Wanzi and hope that she gets her rhythm back to keep them within shouting distance of this lead. We'll be right back. You're watching Frontier Community Access Television. Bottom of the third on its way here at Westfield State University. In the Western Mass Class B finals. As expected, it's a close game here, Tom. We expected a pretty tight matchup with a lot of high emotion moments here. And for the Red Hawks, it's been a bit of a roller coaster here. They started the game off with a 1-run first inning that put them in front. They held that until the bottom of the second, where the Raiders finally broke through against Raina Wanzi to give themselves a 2-1 lead. And an inning later, Wanzi has to deal with them again, and that ball is going to drop for a base hit in center right. Fielding it is Nichols. Throw to second. It's going to be a close play, but she's safe.
Excellent throw there from Maggie Nichols out in center field.
Absolutely, Tom. That was perhaps a second and a half away from being an out and cutting her down at second. But Lucy Trombley starts things off with a leadoff double for the Raiders. Pressure on Wanzi early once again, but she stays cold. Reagan Dubé is her batter now, and she deals a strike to her. Oh, 1 pitch. Bunt is shown. Pulled back. And it will be a ball. Runner at second stared down by Riley Tyne. 1-1 the count now. Showing bunt again. And it gets away from Tyne. Taking third and held up there is Trombley. Very aggressive is Hampshire right now. They really want to extend this lead they already have, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, they know Frontier can hit the ball, and they want to get as many runs as possible, honestly.
Yeah, I have to assume it's only a matter of time before Wanzi gets back into her usual mojo. That one will come in for a strike. Was dropped by Riley Tyne. But it'll come in as a 2-2 count, despite what the scoreboard in right field says.
Our scoreboard's right, though.
That one sent out, center field. Nichols underneath, and she makes the catch, tagging up, and no effort made to stop the run. A sacrifice fly for Reagan Dubé. Mariah Passanella will be the next batter up, but first there's going to be a mound visit, not from any of the coaches, but the players taking some initiative here. This is really, to me, Tom, what sets this Frontier team apart from so many others, and Hampshire does similar things where the players are so very aware of what's going on, the course that the game is headed in, and right now it's certainly going in Hampshire's favor. For the Red Hawks, it all needs to start with Raina Wanzi because the fielding has done what they need to do.
Yep.
There's only been one mishap, really, that I can think of that could have helped prevent a run from scoring or even just someone getting on base. But they've been doing their job defensively. Wanzi just needs to figure herself out, and her teammates certainly doing what they can to help, which is all you can ask for.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, Frontier just trying to calm Raina down, and let's get the batter, you know?
That will be strike one against Passanella. One out away after that sacrifice fly, but now it's 3-1. Swing and a miss. Or excuse me, not a miss. It was fouled off. Looked like she kind of hit it off of one of her legs, too. But it's a 1-2 count. Rain has started to pick up just a bit, enough for the umbrella to be put over our laptop here.
Yep.
As we're on top of the press box here at Sullivan Field on Westfield State. That one will be low for ball 2. Passanella, who has 2 putouts on defense already. Facing down a 2-2, and she's going to send that into left field. Drops in front of Ely, and a base hit as the Raiders continue the punishment.
Yeah, she just got a real good hold of that one, Mason, and drove it into a spot where Frontier couldn't make a defensive play.
That's just a perfect base hit right there. There's nothing that any of the fielders can do high enough so it gets over every infielder's glove, and it'll drop short enough where Ely just has to wait for it to come to her. Reagan Horschman will take ball 1. Stein scampers after the loose ball. She covers it up and keeps the runner at first. Well, I'll tell you, Tom, I'd be enjoying this game a lot more if my paper wasn't getting wet.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss, strike 1.
I can go grab the old tent cover.
Oh, boy.
We can
That
throw
would
it
be-
over everything.
That would be a hassle to get all the way up the stair, the little ladder up
Yeah.
here.
We just push it into a ball.
Yeah. Here's the 1-1. That one's going to be grounded foul. And it seems like it's an interesting swing from Horschman. She's, as we mentioned earlier, she's a young hitter as well, but there's not a lot of lead that she takes into it. Doesn't really step into it as much, but she's still performing well on this season. She'll drill one over the glove of third base. Ely has to field another one, and 2 runners are on. Interesting swing or not, she can still get on base, Tom.
Yeah, that was an excellent, just another great base hit for the Raiders, and that puts up first and second. So
There could legit be a fire in the house. She would just walk.
we're getting word that if there was a fire in the house, she would just walk to it.
Pretty cold-blooded there. And now we're finally seeing Coach Dean out on the circle for the Red Hawks.
I mean, just one out here, so you can just try to get it. Honestly, I would want to get a strikeout more than anything.
Yes, I agree, Tom.
But you can also try to get the lead runner at third, and if it's a hit into the infield. But they've been able to hit into left field twice on back-to-back base hits. So
Yeah. I think the best odds would end up being either a strikeout for them or you get a play at third base. Hampshire's been hitting a lot of balls over on the left field side. So if you can get one where they just get on top of it instead of underneath it, then you're seeing a ground ball right to Abby Schreiber. She can make a double play, potentially third and first base. But the batter who's going to try and make a difference here for the Raiders is Ryan Dubé. Check swing on a low pitch. It's ball 1. One out away. That one's going to be sent to center field. Back is Nichols, and she makes the catch. No one tagged. Runners stay at first and second, and perhaps not the best moment of base running for the Raiders, Tom.
no, that was definitely a mistake there by Mariah Pensanella. But honestly, now a base hit, to the infield outfield may not score a run.
Yeah.
So,
Fouled back by Allison St. Pierre.
Again, as a reminder, if the foul ball should end up in your area, please try to return it to one of the dugouts. Thank you.
So no 1 count, now 2 outs for the Red Hawks as they try and escape this inning without any damage done, or any more damage done, I should say. Ball in the dirt, runners advance as it gets past Tyne and held up at second and third. All of a sudden, no more force outs.
yep, not great there.
Those are the kind of mistakes that you just can't see from a pitcher in this game if they want to be able to try and mount a comeback now. The Red Hawks really need to make sure that they don't give up free bases like that, Tom. But here's the 1-1. Will be a strike as it's on right at the top of the zone. 1-2 now against St. Pierre. Here's the pitch from Wanzi. Swing and a miss. And she got her. Seems like Wanzi doesn't know that it's the third out.
I was going to say.
Everyone finally getting off the field here. But that probably might have been the best thing for Wanzi to end the inning on a strikeout. Try and find that rhythm again and keep the Red Hawks in this game. Now they are down by 2 after another run is given up there in the bottom of the third. When we come back, it will be the top of the fourth. We'll be just about halfway done with this Western Mass final for Class B, and the Red Hawks will have to try and figure out Ryan Dubé to get themselves back in this game. You're watching Frontier Community Access Television. We'll be right back. Lexi Hawkins up to bat here for the Red Hawks. In the 5 spot for the Red Hawks. Right in the middle of the lineup. Ryan Dubé going to try and work her way to the bottom again. That will be a ball.
Yeah, I mean, you got to rely on your bottom of the order here, or middle of the order, I would say.
That one's going to be hacked into the backstop. 1-1 the count. Hawkins struck out looking in her last at-bat back in the first inning. That one's going to be drilled right past the shortstop's glove. A hard ground ball held up at first, but a big hit for Lexi Hawkins to breathe some life back into the Red Hawks.
Yeah, an excellent job as that just got past the shortstop. She made a diving attempt to try to get to it. Just could not.
Addie Ely up to bat here. She also struck out in her last at-bat. She's going to send one into the outfield as well, past the reaching glove of the third baseman. Left field bobbles it, and finally, Allison St. Pierre gets it in. Back-to-back singles for the Red Hawks, and all of a sudden, there's life in the dugout.
This is what you want from your middle of your order. If they can get the bats going, that's great.
The designated player, number 4, Bella Orell.
Bella Orell once again up to bat for Maggie Nichols. Ball. It's an 0-1 count now. No outs for the Red Hawks and a runner in scoring position plus a runner on first. Showing bunt again. She pulls back. Will be a strike this time. A lot of movement on defense from the Raiders. Typically, you just see a pretty stagnant approach to showing bunt. You have players just playing in and they stay there.
Yeah.
Now she shows bunt again. He goes foul.
No, I don't think she'll bunt with 2 strikes on this important of a game. Mason.
It's not likely, yeah. You never know, though. And she'll be looking over to head coach Gary Dean for the sign. Currently, he's talking with his runners. Seems like he already gave her the sign. She knows the game plan. She will not show bunt and takes a ball.
Yeah, I mean, you have the tying run over at first base. You know, base hit could score a run.
Yeah, this is an opportunity with no outs. You can't screw this up. Check swing. She did not go. Certainly looked like she didn't go to us as we're right above the batter's box here. And that is the call on the field. Full count, and she did go that time. Swinging strikeout. Big out made right there.
Base number 11, Abigail Schreiber.
And now with one out, this is a lot of pressure on the two girls at the bottom of the order who both struggled in the semifinal game and struggled in their last at-bat as well. Abby Schreiber takes strike one. And that's one of the things that also confuses me, Tom, about the running approach to it. If you move your bat forward even at all, you are over that foul line and you have swung.
Yeah.
She'll get a piece of that one. But it's still 2 strikes. Runners on first and second, and the Red Hawks need to put the ball in play to have a chance of getting a run home.
Yeah, and she's not switching sides, so I think it's definitely more of a challenge for her to hit lefty than it is righty.
Fouled off again. She stays alive, and no. She's called out.
Oh, because
She made contact with the ball before it's completely out of the box.
Call there made by Renee Arsenal, the celebrated umpire before the game. She made contact with the ball with her bat, but then it hit her foot, which was out of the batter's box, which is hitter's or batter's interference, is what you would call it.
Ooh.
So I suppose you can mark that as a strikeout.
yeah,
That's kind of the best thing for it, I suppose.
yep.
That first pitch to Peabody was a ball. That one a strike as she takes a big hack at it. Red Hawks all of a sudden 2 outs down after they started off the inning so well with back-to-back singles. This has been the issue for the Red Hawks, their longevity. But now a hard grounder, bobbled by third baseman, and the throw is off. Gets past first. Play's coming home. Right field can't handle the ball. Another runner coming home. Here's the play at the plate. She sniped, and it's a tie game.
What a great job by the Red Hawks there, Mason.
What a huge hit from Olivia Peabody. And all of a sudden, the game has been turned on its head. Meeting from the infield for Hampshire. And that is the last thing anyone expected to happen here. And I think this might end up going down as an error 5, Tom. Because it was the third baseman who threw it wide, which started the whole thing.
I think I got to bring the umbrella back here.
And now we're back at the top of the order, and it seems like we have head coach Brian McCann coming out and talking to his players. This is something that is a concern for the Raiders if Dubé breaks down.
Yep.
They don't really have anyone in reserves. They do have 2 other pitchers that they've used this season, Rachel Hickox and Mackenzie Provost. Provost has pitched more innings and has been exceptional. Over 11 innings, she's had an ERA of .64, Tom. That's 0.64.
Jeez.
She's been very good, but she is a freshman, and she hasn't pitched that much. But it's a tie game now. Doucette Kaplan up to bat, and she takes strike 1, looking. Bit of a check swing there, and she did not agree with that call. 0-2 the count now. Red Hawks certainly would be happy walking away from this inning with a tie game, but they do have a runner still on third, Tom. They want to try and cash that in if they can, and it's a high pitch. She stays alive, 1-2.
Yeah, I mean, you have the leading run at third. You want to get that run in no matter the cost, you know.
High pitch again, ball 2. Doucette Kaplan working her way back. All of a sudden, a lot of pressure now on Ryan Dubé, who was cruising through the past couple innings. That one's going to be grounded. And it's in between the legs of Dubé at second. Run comes home. And another odd play in the infield. It's going to cost them another run, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, the errors are huge. I mean, that is just, I'm in disbelief there, you know. Frontier just scores another run because of that, Mason. I mean, that is ridiculous.
That's the third error of the day by the Raiders. Very uncharacteristic of them. Tyne pops it up, and it's dropped again. Miscommunication on the infield, and the Red Hawks have stayed alive yet again. A disaster class being put on by the Raiders in this top of the fourth. How things have turned around, Tom. This is not the Raiders that we know.
No, I mean, this is unexpected. I mean, you know, I really thought it was going to be a very, very strong defense behind Dubé, and they're just making errors that are costing them runs.
That will go down as a single for Riley Tyne. No one had it in their glove. It was just miscommunication. So not a full-fledged error, but still a defensive indifference, I suppose you could call it, Tom.
Yep.
And now Steele with 2 runners on. The best person that you could ask for if you're a fan of the Red Hawks. Even with 2 outs, she's the one that can make the big difference. Red Hawks now with the lead back by 1 run. Steele takes ball 2. Both pitches were low.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to pitch to Steele here, you know.
I don't think I want to pitch to Steele ever, Tom.
No.
Steele takes strike 1. Could be a huge stand here for Ryan Dubé if she can get Steele out. Swing and a miss. A rare sight from Skylar Steele, and it's a 2-2 count. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and it will be tipped. Barely staying alive is Steele. Runners on first and second for the Red Hawks. They already have scored 3 runs in this top of the fourth. Here's the pitch from Dubé. That will be a ball. It's a full count. Three-two count. 2 outs. Here's the pitch to Steele, and she fouls it off. Runners were taken off on contact for the Red Hawks. They want to make every opportunity count here in this game, and you have to. Here's the payoff again. That one's going to be sent out. Right field, over the glove, and it's caught. A great job of tracking in right field by Caroline Payson, and she saves the Raiders in this top of the fourth. But the Red Hawks have retaken the lead in this game, Tom.
Yeah, they exploded in that inning. I mean, basically off of some errors from the Raiders, Mason. I mean, that is just not great defense. You know, as a pitcher, I'd be very upset with my team there, you know?
Absolutely. There was 2 errors that happened in that inning alone. The first one that happened with the third baseman, Chelsea Vinay, who threw it wide to first base. That brought in 2 runs. Those 2 hitters actually got on base off of their own power, those back-to-back singles that started off the whole inning. And then the third error brought the runner who got to third base on the previous error, Olivia Peabody. That brought her home, and that was the error from the second baseman, Kaylin Dubé.
Yeah, I mean, Frontier, you got to give it to them, though. I mean, they had fun with 2 outs, and it worked in their favor.
Absolutely. Huge, huge turn of events here in Westfield. And it seems like the rain might not be stopping, Tom. Although it is still very light, but it's still coming down. And, I mean, how much, me and you both have played baseball in our times. How much would you say this affects how you play a game like softball if you're having this kind of precipitation on the field?
I mean, the ball will probably roll more off the grass at least, just because of the wetness of the grass. And, you know, you just got to be heads up on that. You know, the field's wet now. So
somehow the paper that I have behind this top one is almost completely dry. I don't know if you can see the difference here, Tom. I can't show it to the viewers, but
yeah,
this is it. My scorebook is doing incredible things.
Both of our scorebooks are. I mean, I just checked mine. So
hopefully that other side can dry off. Well, the Red Hawks are on defense here, but this will be Caroline Payson, who just made that last out in right field against Skylar Steele, who's now up to bat against Raina Wanzi. Wanzi deals, and it will be a ball low and inside to Payson to start things off in this bottom of the 4th. And the blankets have started to come out in the Frontier dugout. Natalie Wells wrapped up in a little poncho there. Check swing, she did not follow through on it, and it's ball 2.
Marina just taking a deep breath there before the pitch.
She's done a great job of pacing herself, regulating how her rhythm is, and she deals a strike right there. Not even a flinch from Payson. Two-1 the count to the leadoff hitter, and that will be strike 2. Painting the outside edge is Raina Wanzi.
Yeah, she's worked her way back to a 2-2 count here.
Here's the pitch, and high. Full count yet again. These pitchers certainly are working the length of these at-bats, Tom, and you can't, I don't think that we'll see any other pitchers besides these two in these games unless something crazy happens. Here's a shot that's going to fall into right field, covered up by Peabody, scrambling with it. She'll throw it to no one, but held up at second is Payson.
Now, good leadoff double. That's the way to start the inning off for the Raiders.
Gutsy play from Peabody to throw it over the cutoff.
Good job, kid.
Steele was there in front of second base, and she covered it up, but probably wouldn't have made much of a difference either way. Here's Kaylin Dubé, who had one of those 2 errors in the top of this 4th inning. She shows bunt, and it's tipped foul.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll try to make the runner stay at second, you know, if they field it off the bunt.
Abby Schreiber playing very in for that bunt that Kaylin just showed. All that Hampshire wants out of this inning is 1 run at least. That will be a beautiful bunt. Laid down the first base line, and I don't know if Wanzi should have touched that, Tom.
No, she should have let it go foul. It looked like it was going to go foul.
It definitely did. And although it would have taken a little bit of extra time to get there, if it ends up going foul and you wait and you touch it over there, it ends up being a foul ball as long as it's before first base. So it's a bunt that ends up getting her on base. And a runner on third. Back at the top of the order, it's Rachel Hickox, who's 0 for 2 so far today. Making the throw to second, throw to third, and it's close, but she's safe. Now she calls time.
I believe, like in softball, it's probably a lot harder to do a hidden ball trick just because that ball is so green.
Yeah, and it's so big. Showing bunt again, and strike called against Hickox.
Yeah, we'll see if Frontier were to try to go home if the runner takes off.
1-1, I believe the count is. Or no, excuse me, 0-2. 0-2 against Hickox. Runners on second and third for Hampshire. That will be strike 3. Looking against Hickox. First out there for the Redhawks as the wind starts to pick up. Now Lucy Trombley, who had that big-time double in the third inning, will rocket one to steal. She stops it. Runners stay, and she'll take containment over a risk here. And that is what my friend Bill D'Ambrosio would love to say is defensive indifference.
Yep.
Bases loaded, popped up on the first pitch and out of play. 1 strike against Reagan Dubé. Dubé 0 for 2 today. She had a strikeout and then sacrifice fly, so she did cash in a run, but hasn't gotten on base yet. She'll take a sacrifice fly here again, though.
Yeah, this would be the time to do it with the bases loaded.
Absolutely. Popped up again, going foul again, and over the backstop. 0-2 once again in favor of Raina Wanzi. She'll get a dry ball from the third base coach. Only 1 out on the scoreboard for Frontier's favor here. But Hampshire has the bases loaded and a good hitter at home plate. Here's the 0-2 to Dubé. And it's going to be fouled back once again. Stays 0-2. Got a piece of it just underneath the ball. And then we'll take a moment to clean the ball off. That is the most important part. As long as the pitcher has a good grip on a dry ball, they'll continue play. But if it's raining too much, I wouldn't be surprised if they pause things here, Tom, or even just try and find some more balls, access to more softballs.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they're pulling them from the other game.
I wouldn't be surprised.
The next game after this, so.
Here's the 0-2 again. Will be high. Tyne was waiting for it up high. Looked like they were trying to bait her to swing at a high pitch. And even some of the players that are on the field here, Abby Schreiber wearing a windbreaker over her jersey, which I think it might even be allowed at the college level as well. But it's a 1-2 count now. Wanzi dealing. Outside again. That one I don't think was meant to bait her. I think she might have just missed there, Tom.
Yeah. Forecast update. It looks like it's going to stay raining till like 6 o'clock. So,
wow.
And it looks like we got some trouble coming.
Ball's popped up, shallow, steal underneath, and that's the second out away.
See if the Hawks can get out of this, Mason.
One of the trickiest situations we've seen out of it. Any of the innings so far today, which have had some pretty unique situations. Mariah Passanella at home plate. She'll take strike 1 as it hits the outside edge. She is 2 for 2 so far today. She's the girl that Hampshire wants at the plate right now. 2 singles in back-to-back innings. She could make it back-to-back-to-back here. She'll foul that one off. Now she's in a tricky spot, though, Tom. 0-2.
Yeah, you got to protect it. Anything close, so we'll see if Raina throws something inside or outside to try to get her to chase.
This is what happens when you have that aggressive approach. It's worked for Hampshire because they have great hitters, but up against a great pitcher like Wanzi. Let's see. Here's the 0-2. And that will be low.
Yeah, looked to be a little inside, too, so.
It's a good catch, Tom. I think you're right. Plenty of fans pouring in all around the diamond here, waiting along the fences. This is a nail-biter, folks. Not even halfway through. That one's going to be popped up. Right field.
Oh!
And Doucette Kaplan had it in her glove. 1 run scores, 2 runs, and finally held up at third as Hampshire retakes the lead again.
Now batting the designated player number 8, Reagan Hartman. Hartman.
What a turn of events we've had. I mean, I've said that 2 times now, I think, Tom. But
Yeah.
still, it stands.
And both teams making crucial mistakes almost.
Pop up, staying in play, but foul. And the third out is made in foul territory off the glove of Abby Schreiber.
And now the Hawks, they need to get the bats going again.
Wow.
As Hampshire they fight right back.
2 left on base after technically a 1-hit inning because of errors and defensive indifference, but pretty confusing game we've had so far, especially for our poor wet score sheets here, Tom, but it's been exciting nonetheless. A 1-run game halfway through now, and we just have 3 innings left after 4 completed. Hampshire hanging on to a lead, and it seems like if it keeps pace with how we've seen things right now, Hampshire might be able to squeeze this one out just because they're the home team.
Yeah, I mean, you have the advantage batting second, so. But we'll have to wait and see, Mason.
5-4 the score here as the warm-ups will be ushered along to try and speed things up, keep the schedule on pace here at Westfield State University. They do have a schedule to adhere to after all.
Yeah, I mean, the game's at 4 o'clock, so and it's 3:55.
Wow. Well, I think we're going to go a little bit over schedule here, but then again, I think that most games are going a little bit over scheduled today, especially in the baseball world. As we said, Greenfield walking away with a Western Mass title over Lenox, but that went to 17 innings. Possibly, I think that is a record for the Western Mass tournament, Tom, in baseball. Longest game inning-wise that we've seen, as Raina Wanzi will be the first batter up for the Red Hawks on my relatively dry score sheet. She takes ball 1 from Ryan Dubé. That one will also be a ball. And although we've seen a lot of runs scored here, don't get it twisted. These 2 pitchers that you're seeing battle against each other right now are incredible, and they usually don't give up this amount of runs. That one also a ball. It's 3-0 the count. Ryan Dubé on the mound right now. She's got an ERA of 1.64.
Very, very impressive.
Incredibly impressive. And the batting average against her, as a big hack is taken by Raina Wanzi. Makes it 3-1. But her batting average against, which means the hitters that she faces, their batting average against her is a 204 at this level. Pretty low.
Yeah. Very, very low at the high school level.
And one of the reasons why she has such a great record and great statistics, Tom, is because she can battle back like this. 3 straight balls she dealt, and now it's been 2 strikes in a row. Full count pitch, off speed, and she walks her. Didn't follow through that time, but it's the fact that she can have the nerve and awareness to control the emotion and the stress that she has. Undoubtedly she has in high tension situations like these, to just deal the pitch that she needs to deal in that moment almost every single time. That's why she's probably one of the best, if not the best pitchers in this area, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, she's an excellent pitcher, and you know that's why. I mean, she can battle back in this situation, and you know, hopefully the Red Hawks, the middle of the order, they were able to hit last inning, so hopefully they're able to do so again.
That is really the crucial factor for both of these teams. Which of their hitters are going to be able to wake up and consistently be there for them? Raina Wanzi has been there for her Red Hawks so far today. gets her courtesy runner on base, but a strike delivered to Lexi Hawkins. Hawkins, in her first at-bat, way back in the first inning, struck out looking against Dubé. Then she had a single to center field and eventually came home in that big fourth inning for the Redhawks. Now a runner's taken off. Nichols is
she
safe.
dropped it.
Had the tag in time, had her out by at least a foot and a half, but the contact from the runner knocked the ball out as she was sliding into second, and she's safe.
Yeah, just a lucky bounce there for Nichols there.
So 2 stolen bases now for the Redhawks in this game. That will be a low pitch, ball 2. And it's a 2-2 count. That last pitch on the stolen base was a strike. Or excuse me, no, it's 3 balls and 1 strike. Scoreboard has it wrong up there. And that will be ball 4.
Back-to-back walks, Mason.
That's the first time we've seen some kind of protest or emotion from Ryan Dubé to the umpire's calls here. She protests against the back-to-back walks, which she usually isn't not known for her walks, but Coach McGann coming out again, talking to his players, and it's a quick conversation. He knows what he needs to say to them, and they'll say a little bit longer to hype themselves back up to find a way to control this game once again. And it's really interesting, Tom. Both of these teams have been really hot offensively, but I said this to you before the game. It's either going to be a slugfest or it's just going to be a pitcher's duel, and I guess it just turned into a slugfest here.
Yeah, it's just who can hit the ball better at this point and get more runs.
Addie Ely lays down a bunt, fielded by Dubé and thrown over to Dubé at first. Ryan connects with Kalen, and the runners advance, but the first out is made for the Raiders. Time is called here
And we have
by Coach Dean.
Whitney Campbell coming in to hit.
Campbell didn't hit in the semifinal game. She's had her ups and downs with hitting as much as anyone else in this year. Only senior on the roster, though, for the Redhawks. He's getting plenty of advice here from her head coach. She's coming in to hit for Maggie Nichols.
And that was a great, excellent bunt by Addie Ely to put the runners in scoring position.
Yeah, or excuse me, I should say, it wasn't Maggie Nichols who's the flex player listed. It was Bella Orell who has been hitting for Maggie Nichols, who's fielding in center field. And so there's one out. Runners on second and third for the Redhawks. And Whitney Campbell now up to bat. Campbell takes a swing and a miss. Another big opportunity for the Redhawks that they really don't want to mess up.
Oh.
There's strike 2. Oh and 2. And the pitch comes outside. They were trying to set her up as she was swinging pretty leisurely at those last 2 pitches, Tom. She still has an eye for the ball. Doesn't take a hack at that one. It's 1 and 2. That one will be high, ball 2. All of a sudden, Campbell's starting to work back. At least she's going to work the count. Well, she has her chance against Ryan Dubé.
2-2 count. Still got to protect.
Ball 3, it's high. Full count all of a sudden. And it's the opposite of what we were talking about before, Tom. Instead of working back, she's working the other way.
Yeah, I mean.
3-2. So there's confusion. There was confusion on the scoreboard. Hampshire wanted clarification. The umpires does still have it right. Dubé takes her time. Now she deals. And strike 3. It's sent right down the middle, and it didn't look like Campbell was going to take a hack at it anyway.
Yeah, they'll bring up Abby Schreiber. And she is in the lefties batter's box again, which, you know, she's been able to checking if she went.
Well, there's a lot of confusion here on who was watching, whether they were swinging or not. And now Renee Arsenal coming over to talk to Coach McGann, who certainly is upset. His player's upset. And it has to do with this running approach, Tom. She, as we said before, she is walking over the foul line. And they're trying to call her for a strike here on this.
She's even smiling. She knows.
Well, they can't look at replay. That's
yeah.
that's a rule.
That's the universal standard, and it is going to be called a strike. The right call, I think, Tom.
Yeah.
And we have time here. Looks like Coach Dean trying to get some clarification on something at least here.
No clarification.
Now Renee Arsenal coming down to talk to Coach Dean. Arsenal with, as you said, Tom, was it 41?
Yeah, 41
years of experience. Got to imagine that he's had plenty of times where he's had to explain similar things, and Frontiers coaches might not like it, but I do think, Tom, that was the right call. I mean, maybe it's just for lack of knowledge of that specific tactic in softball, but I think that's a risk that you take when you have a running head start at a pitch. So that'll be the second strike against Abby Schreiber. This is, again, big chance for the Redhawks. They have 2 runners in scoring position. They're down 1. And they made the right decision, I think, bringing in a different hitter in Whitney Campbell. But now he'll send that one in play, fielded up high by shortstop, and first base. And hold on, runner is out. Is the call by Renee Arsenal. Let's see if we can get an explanation here from his emotions.
Stay in the box.
Fans, a reminder at the conclusion of this game.
And I think that the issue here is that regardless of what happened in terms of timing, the third out was made because the hitter, Abby Schreiber, was outside of the batter's box when she made contact with the ball, Tom. So
Yeah.
she's called out by that rule, which, whether Coach Dean likes it or not, is what they called before in terms of when she was called out on that strikeout she had earlier.
Yeah.
She'll be called out on a strikeout here as well, despite the contact that she made with the ball. And whether or not you like the call, the officiating's been consistent.
Yeah.
And that's what you can hope for.
It's probably the correct one there.
So that will end the inning here, or the top of the inning at least. Top of the 5th is over, and despite a great opportunity and plenty of confusion, the Redhawks stay down by 1 here. Coach Dean still talking with the home plate umpire here. And now it seems like he's being escorted back to the dugout. No hard feelings or raised voices at all between the two of them. Nice civilized conversation,
Yeah.
but certainly a disagreement on Coach Dean's part. He now goes back to his coaching staff, and I think they might have to have a talk about perhaps a pinch hitter for Abby Schreiber, who can make contact with the ball, but that is her hitting motion, Tom. That is what she does, and if that puts her in jeopardy of being out consistently,
Yep.
because it's happened twice now, they might have to talk about sending in someone else who can hit for her, but it's a question of who.
Or you would have her just switch back to their normal righty
I could
batter's
also,
box. I mean, that's honestly what I would have, what I would do. You know.
It's fair. For the Raiders, decision goes their way.
inning for the Hampshire Raiders. The pitcher, number 1.
In the bottom of the fifth,
Dubé.
it will be Ryan Dubé who is up to lead things off for the Raiders. They have a 1-run lead over the Frontier Red Hawks. After this 5th inning, there's just the 6th and the 7th left in regulation. If we end up with a tie, well, I'll stay here a little later.
Yeah. And if I were the other teams, you know, I'd get back to warming up.
Yeah, definitely. It's getting a little chilly here as well. Wind picking up just a touch as it's a 2-0 count in favor of the hitter, Ryan Dubé. That one's going to be popped up, coming into center field, and will be caught by Whitney Campbell, who is now fielding in center instead of Maggie Nichols.
Yeah, I think that's the correct move, putting your senior back out and play. So
It also, in terms of morale, Tom, that does a pretty good job of work in terms of positive reinforcement for the team. You have someone that everyone loves as the senior and looks up to. That one's going to be sent roping over into right field, and it falls foul. A close decision. Certainly foul, but only by less than a foot or so.
yeah, that was very close, and Peabody not there to not there to get the grab.
You think we'll see these kids out in right field move, Tom? You see them underneath the scoreboard?
I mean, maybe.
I'm asking just pure curiosity because I don't know.
I mean, I guess they're able to watch from there, so.
Ground ball hits softly to steal it short. Throw to first is in time by about a stride.
Yeah, excellent job by Steele, just sticking with it there.
There's some good routine defense that we typically see from the Red Hawks. Obviously, Hampshire has been giving them a run for their money in a lot of these earlier innings, but if they can settle into that routine yet again, that would be huge for them. Strike one is called, and certainly a quick inning, especially for the arm. Raina Wanzi would do wonders for the Red Hawks' chances on offense as well. 2 outs, and that will be a ball dealt to Caroline Payson, who had a big double in the previous inning, where 2 more runs were knocked in for the Hampshire Raiders. Fouled back for strike 2. Two outs away for the Red Hawks. They still trail by 1 here at the bottom of the 5th. Defensive stops mean offensive opportunities, and here's the pitch.
Ooh.
It will hit the batter, and that's the second hit by pitch we've seen today.
Yeah, a bit unlike Raina. She's kicking herself in the foot, you know.
Back in the second inning, Raina hit Kaylin Dubé, who is the batter right now. Dubé fouls that one back behind the backstop, and no one gets hurt. But it's an 0-1 count. Runner all of a sudden on first, who can certainly do some damage for the Raiders. And the pitch will get past Riley Tyne. No throw down to second. This Frontier will take their chances at the plate to try and get their third out.
Yeah, 1-1 count.
Ball will be cleaned off again as it ended up in the dirt. Rain seems to have really slowed down here. Just a couple raindrops every now and then. We'll give a chance for our equipment to dry out a little bit. One ball and 1 strike on Kaylin Dubé. Here's the pitch from Wanzi. That will land in the corner for strike 2. Wanzi's done a great job of painting those corners today, Tom.
Yeah, an excellent job, and she wants to get out of this. No damage done, and try to get the bats going for the Hawks.
At the bottom of the order, already 2 outs away. A runner on second. Here's the pitch to Dubé, and it's fouled off again. Great work staying alive by the sophomore second baseman, who has a lot on her mind today after she's made a pair of errors on the defensive side of things. Here's the 1-2.
Oh.
Inside, and it's called a strike. She flinched away from it dramatically, but it grabs the inside edge of the plate. And a big high five from Coach Dean for Reina Wanzi as she goes back to the dugout.
Nine one two.
Well,
Go ahead, Tom.
we do have the last batter of the Red Hawks up to bat, and then top of the order. So hopefully they can get the bats rolling, Mason.
It'll be a good look for their 9-hole hitter, Olivia Peabody, to try and get things started for them. She got on base with what was a good hit. I'll give her credit for that in her last at-bat, or now 2 innings ago, in the big chance for the Red Hawks that ended up being the big difference maker in this game so far, that 3-run top of the 4th, where she got all the way to third base on an error, an overthrow by the third baseman, Chelsea Vinace. So if she can get lucky again, or perhaps make a little bit more solid contact, she could start things going for the Red Hawks. But for Ryan Dubé, thinking about it the other way, at the bottom of the order, you've already struck her out once before, you should be able to do it again.
Yeah.
Practice swings before she steps into the right-handed batter's box, and Olivia Peabody is ready to face Ryan Dubé. First pitch comes in high, and it's a batter's count early on. High, but inside this time, ball 2.
We've seen her battle back, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a strike here.
And Tom calls it. There's the aggression again, trying to force the hand of the batter. Ryan Dubé settling back onto the rubber. Now she winds and deals. That will be strike 2. Haven't seen any kind of motion to swing from Peabody yet, as both pitches have been either outside or caught her by surprise, I'd say. Here's the 2-2. That one fouled off. Good contact made to stay alive from Olivia Peabody. Changing out a softball yet again. Two-two pitch in the dirt. It's a full count now. It was on a full count pitch that Olivia Peabody struck out swinging against Dubé back in the 2nd inning. Dubé could end up being just right where she wants to be. Here's the payoff pitch to the leadoff hitter, and it's fouled back out of play, and it will stay 3-2.
Yeah, she's just getting a bit under it there, Mason, and just want to try to straighten that out a little bit.
No outs on the leadoff hitter as her team trails by 1, and she will go down swinging for the first out in this top of the 6th.
And now you got to think Frontier's getting down to their last couple lives here, Mason.
5 left.
Yep.
2 left in this top of the 6th and 3 left in the top of the 7th when we get to that one. They've got to score at least 1 run to challenge the Raiders. Doucette Kaplan takes one high. She's got herself a good habit of looking down at her head coach, Gary Dean, on the third baseline, but in between every at-bat. And she's the only batter for the Red Hawks who consistently sits in the left-handed batter's box. So call time here. Take a few practice swings as she didn't like her rhythm. Now she's ready. Here's the 1-0. That one will be a strike right down the gutter. Strike 2 called against Doucette Kaplan. And she struck out looking in her second of 3 at-bats so far today. This is her 4th. She worked the count a little bit more in that previous at-bat. She's going to have to do the same or get some contact. Here's the 1-2. And she'll go down swinging.
Yeah, Dubé's found her rhythm here in the last couple innings.
A pitcher's duel with no offensive output in the rest of this game would end up being a Hampshire victory, which is not where Frontier wants to be, especially as they fought so hard in this game. Here's Riley Tyne, and she will take strike 1 on the outside edge. And a timeout here is, it seemed like there might have been a collision between the two athletes at home plate here. Dubé, the catcher, and Riley Tyne bumped into each other, and they take a moment to get themselves ready for the next pitch, which will be a ball low and inside.
And Tyne's one of the better hitters for Frontier, Mason, so have fun with 2.
Had a single in her last at-bat and fouls that one off slowly over to the dugout. Now it's 1-2. 2 outs away. Pressure on the 8th grader, Riley Tyne. Huge crowd gathered in the wings as plenty of Agawam and East Longmeadow fans watch the conclusion of this great matchup. And that's going to be sent foul along the third base side. Looked for a moment like it could stay in, but it just kept heading foul. So the count stays 1-2. Ball retrieved by the left fielder. Dubé settling back in. Here's the 1-2 to Riley Tyne, and it will be low and inside, right at her ankles. 2-2.
Yeah, just to get another good eye there by Tyne.
Moving quickly is Dubé. That one's going to be knocked right past her glove, and it's another base hit for Riley Tyne. The Red Hawks stay alive in the top of the 6th, and now they set up Skylar Steele.
Number 10, Skylar Steele.
Skylar Steele, we've said it many times before, Tom, the hitter that you want if you're Frontier in a situation like this. Runner on first and 2 outs. She'll take ball 1, and the ball gets away from the catcher. Riley Tyne takes second, overthrown ball. She's heading to third. The throw will be not in time, but not overthrown, which was the most important part. All of a sudden, a runner is in scoring position for the Red Hawks.
Yep, Steele just needs a base hit here, and that will drive the tying run in.
So a pass ball and then an error on the throw. Was it from the catcher there? I think it was, Tom.
It must have been. I think she might have just, I don't want to say released earlier or whatnot, but it went to the second baseman.
Yeah.
So.
But the Red Hawks all of a sudden in a perfect opportunity to score and tie this game up. Steele, the person, the single athlete that you would want to be at the plate to do this for either team, probably.
Yeah, I mean, this is the player you want in the batter's box right now.
She's got a 1-0 count, and all of a sudden what went from a conversation of, oh, there you go. Well, that isn't the most surprising thing we've seen all day, but changes the approach quite a bit. An intentional walk here for Steele.
Yeah, and she's been intentionally walked a lot this season because teams know she can hit the ball. So,
and you can assume Steele's going to take off for second to try and make Hampshire pay if she can. But now it's up to Raina Wanzi, as it has been this whole game on both sides of the ball. She's kept her team in this game on defense. Now she has to come up with a hit as the throw down to second will be cut off by the pitcher.
Steele now at second, the winning run over at second base.
I believe that first pitch was a ball. I didn't see any motion from the home plate umpire.
I think it was a strike.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was a strike.
That one will be a ball, so it ends up being 1-1.
Yeah, the rain's starting to come down here once again.
Dramatic weather for a dramatic game. We've seen the Redhawks in this position before. 2 runners in scoring position and 2 outs. Swansea takes strike 2.
It's pitcher versus pitcher here, Mason. Who's going to win the battle?
Mano-a-mano for the tie or the lead. Here's the pitch from Dubé, and it's fouled up high, and the out is made.
Well, they get out of that.
Big break for the Raiders as the Redhawks all of a sudden mounted a lot of pressure on them. And the Redhawks now down to their last 3 outs. But first they have to contain the Raiders one last time in the bottom of the 6th. When we come back right here on Frontier Community Access Television. Bottom of the 6th here in the Western Mass Finals. It's a 1-run game, and on defense is the Redhawks, who trail by that 1 run. 5-4 the score right now, and it has been a full inning officially since the last time either team scored. Last time was in the bottom of the 2nd inning when, not the 2nd inning, the 4th inning when 2 runs were scored by Hampshire to give them the lead back against Frontier.
Well, we have had 666 views, Mason, on a bad internet stream. We have 30 concurrent viewers, though. So,
well, that's what happens when you have a great game like this. We'll take some credit for it, I suppose, but it's to the credit of all of these athletes that have made this game so incredibly entertaining. And it's going to come down to the wire. It certainly is. Whether it goes a full 7 extra innings or only 6.5, it'll be a great Western Mass final game regardless. Up to bat now is the top of the order for the Raiders, and it's grounded hard past the glove of Abby Schreiber into left field, and the throw to second is not in time. Safe still. They almost called her out.
yeah, great leadoff double there. By Rachel Hickix.
Hickix has had a great game so far on defense especially. She struggled in terms of hitting. She was 0 for 3 coming into that at-bat today, and all of a sudden she knocks one past the reaching glove of Abby Schreiber, and it's a leadoff double. Now the pressure's on once again, and that hits someone's umbrella. So it was fouled off behind the plate.
My umbrella held up by the top of the laptop. So
that will be a ball. No outs and a runner already in scoring position for Hampshire. A run here might end up sealing the deal against the Redhawks. They had a big inning of 3 runs earlier in this game, but it'll be hard for them to do it again, especially as Ryan Dubé seems to have hit her stride, Tom. And it looked like Wanzi had in the previous inning, too. Just 4 batters she faced to get those 3 outs. But now the leadoff double. That one's going to be knocked. Shallow center, drops in front of Campbell. She bobbles the ball, bobbles again, and the run will score.
I mean, we talked about the wetness of the field, and honestly, I think that was the factor there.
Yeah.
You know, Campbell she couldn't pick up the ball there.
Now batting for the Raiders. The catcher, number 33, Reagan Dubay.
Rain's starting to pick up a little bit more now, as East Longmeadow and Agawam are both waiting for this game to end so they can start theirs presumably in the rain. A tough day for sports and sports coverage. Bunt shown, throw to first, safe. And now finally a timeout called by the runner on first. Is Reagan Dubay still waiting at home plate. Goes bunt again, pulls back, inside. That'll be a ball. 2-0 count in her favor. Still no outs for the Red Hawks. Chances of escaping this inning. Bunt laid down, and it's foul. There's the first strike against Reagan, who has not gotten on base so far today. 0 for 3, but she did have that sacrifice fly back in the third inning to cash in the solo run of that bottom of the third for Hampshire.
I got 2-1.
2 balls, 1 strike. After some discussion. Here's the pitch from Wanzi. Bunt shown, and the throw to second isn't in time. Stolen base by Trombley. Now another runner in scoring position for the Raiders. That will be strike 3, looking. And a big timeout for Wanzi to try and keep her team in this game as the innings start to run dry.
Yeah, the Red Hawks, they need to get out of this with no more damage done.
Absolutely. And the ball gets away from Tyne and hit the tip of her glove, and Trombley gets to third. On a pass ball. Not sure if we can call that a wild pitch, but it certainly got away from Riley Tyne. I think we might be able to blame the rain for that one, Tom.
Yep, it's definitely having its effect on the game.
1-0 the count. That pitch cracked out to center field. Underneath it is Campbell, and she drops it off the front of her glove. Another run scores. And that could be the nail in the coffin for the Red Hawks.
Yeah, unless they can get 3 runs in the top of the 7th with the middle of their order, which we saw the middle of the order, they were able to hit the ball pretty well. So
it's going to be tough to do against Ryan Dubay, who's been performing very well as of late. So now the mood starts to sour, as the weather does too, for the Red Hawks. Swing and a miss. Throw to first. Great work by Lexi Hawkins to cover up that throw. Reagan Horschman at the plate. She took strike 1. She was able to get a hit earlier in today's game. She's 1 for 3 so far today. Looking down to first again. No throw, but another strike on Horschman. 1-1 the count. That one's going to be sent over into left field and fielded by Addie Ely. A base hit to keep things going for the Raiders. And still only 1 out. Now it'll be Ryan Dubé. The big conversation of will she be able to keep up her performance on defense now becomes will she be able to make an impact on offense.
Yeah, I mean, she struggled at the plate this game, so the Red Hawks, though, they need to just lock in and try to get out of this with no more damage done.
Absolutely. Conversation being had here between Ryan Dubé and the home plate umpire. Not quite sure what it's about, but she steps into the batter's box, no problem. Runners on first and second, 1 out against the Raiders. Ball comes outside, and a great job by Riley Tyne tracking that one down. Everything getting soaked up here.
The Umbrella's doing a good job, you know.
Keeping the stream alive.
Well,
Fly ball sent off the bat of Dubé, and Campbell can't get there.
second base.
No communication from the Red Hawks. Everyone tags up, and everyone is safe. Bases loaded. Campbell was not in a great position to get there. It looked like Steele was the closest one, and then for whatever reason, she backed off.
Just unlucky.
Courtesy runner for the pitcher, number 24, Orlando Knight. Courtesy runner.
Well, Coach Dean gonna come out and console his players.
I can't imagine that there's a conversation of taking Wanzi out of the game here. I haven't seen anything in terms of warm-ups from Lexi Hawkins, who is their only other pitcher that they really have who would be listed as eligible to my knowledge, Tom. But I think this is more likely just a pep talk for his players. You already got 1 out, and we are down by 3 now, but we know how to hit our bats. We just need to get these next 2 outs, and then we can worry about that. And now I'll have a couple extra words for Wanzi. Players retake their positions in the field. Coach Dean retreats to the dugout.
And just 1 out here with the bases loaded. As the rain is really starting to pour down now.
Here's the pitch from Wanzi. Will be outside. Allison St. Pierre, the hitter for the Raiders. Caroline Payson on deck, and behind her is Kaylin Dubé. Redhawks only need 2. Bases loaded, and that one's going to be sent over the glove of Dusek Kaplan. Another run scores. Second one coming home. Dusek Kaplan's throw isn't there. And it's 9-4.
Yeah, and they've just blown this open, wide open.
And I think we might see a change here now. 3 runs you might be able to do, but 5 runs,
yeah,
a lot less likely.
Yeah, against a really good Hampshire team, they have a strong defense. I don't see it happening, but
yeah,
you never know. You can put your rally caps on in the top of the 7th.
And it will be Lexi Hawkins who comes in to relieve for Raina Wanzi, who had a great outing until this inning, really. She'll take some time to warm up, and we'll take a quick break in between. You're watching Frontier Community Access Television.
All right, so Lexi Hawkins into pitch for the Red Hawks. Mason will be back very shortly. The batter is Payson here. Last at bat, she had a hit to right field. Runner's down. Runner takes off to second there. Still just one out here in the bottom of the 6th inning, where the Raiders have really blown this thing open. That'll be a ball high and away. 2-0. That'll be in there for a strike. Nice pitch from Hawkins. That will be a fly ball to second base, and it'll be dropped again. So another error for the Red Hawks, and that will score another run as Doucette Kaplan upset with herself there. So that'll make it 10-4. That'll bring up Kaylin DeBay. Her last at bat, she bunted, I believe. But it is 10-4 now for DeBay. And then for a strike, Tyne will throw down to second. They'll get that runner out. Well, that'll clear the bases. So the run scores on a passed ball. That'll make it 11-4 with 2 outs here. Hard hit ball over to shortstop. Steele will make the stop. She stops it from going into the outfield, but that'll be a base hit. For number 2. Or number 4 there, Kaylin DeBay. So still just 2 outs now as Mason joins us back. You missed 2 runs scoring.
I can tell by the scoreboard. Seems like there's a lot of commotion down below us, Tom. Trying to figure out how we can shorten the ceremony to be quick as possible.
Oh, really?
They've got to stay on their schedule.
Huh.
The high pitch there is going to be notched in for a ball against Rachel Hickox. Back in the top of the order. We come full circle, I'm pretty sure here. Throw down to second, going to be high, and oh my goodness, she's out. Oh, but rough contact as she's going to stay down for a moment. Throw was perfect, but unfortunately placed. As we'll step aside here, you're watching Frontier Community Access Television. Top of the 7th here, the final inning of this Western Mass Class B final. It seems like the Redhawks have run out of luck. Down 7 runs all of a sudden. It was a 1-run game up until the bottom of the 6th, where 6 runs were scored. And Lexi Hawkins, who came in to relieve Raina Wanzi, will now take to her bat and foul the first pitch off for a strike. There's certainly not the end of the game quite yet, Tom, because softball is quite a surprising and resilient sport for a fortunate team such as the Redhawks, but 7 runs is a hefty load to overcome, especially when you're going up against as good of a pitcher as Ryan Dubé.
Yeah, Ryan Dubé is an excellent pitcher, and she's pitched very excellent tonight.
Absolutely. Will be a ball. 1-2 the count now. For the Redhawks, this was a huge opportunity for them. They've been in Western Mass Finals before, but it's been a while since they've had this shot at a regional title, as that will be ball 2 for Hawkins.
Yeah, maybe it was a bit low there. Not sure where it missed.
But the last time that the Redhawks won the Western Mass title was back in 1999. It's been a long time coming as the first out is made by Ryan Dubé on a strikeout swinging against Lexi Hawkins. 2 more to go for the Hampshire Raiders, but for the Redhawks, this has been almost a perfect season. Only 1 loss so far. This will end up being their second, unless by some miracle they come back here. And it will be their second loss against Hampshire. They lost to them 2-0 as a strike is dealt to Addie Ely. Back in the regular season is when they played them and had that 2-0 loss. This loss will be a bit larger of a margin between them, but it really just came in the late stages of it. There was a battle back and forth between these two teams as Addie Ely stepped into another strike. I'll be 0-2. Excuse me, 2-2. That will be ball 3. Unless I'm mishearing the calls the umpire is making here. Ely back in the box. 2 strikes against her, and she'll ground that one softly to shortstop. Scooped up, throw to first, not in time. She's safe, so the Redhawks are aboard. Still a long way to go for them, but
yeah, especially with 1 out. I mean, I mean, it's possible, Mason.
Absolutely, it's possible.
Yeah, we can't give up hope, but they have to bat through the order completely. So.
And a hit by pitch on Whitney Campbell. She turned her body to lay down a bunt, and it hit her inside leg. So protesting a little bit here from Hampshire, as it seemed as though she might have leaned into it, but she was in the motion of hitting, so I suppose that's the reasoning from the umpires. So 2 runners on now for the Redhawks. Wouldn't be surprised if they walk out of this inning with a couple runs scored, but that will be enough for them to be happy even if they don't come out on top of this game, as that will get through the glove of Dubé, tossed to second, gets by her. Run coming home for the Redhawks. Held up at third and no throw. Another error from the infield, this time coming from Ryan Dubé herself.
Yeah, she just tried to flick it with her glove there, and it didn't work for her.
So game's not over yet, even though we've been doing the eulogy for the Redhawks Western Mass run. It seems like they still have plenty of fight left in them. I stand by what I've said, though, Tom. It will be a really tough climb to make back. And if they do climb back, it's going to be an impressive effort that has to go through multiple phases of this batting order, which is why I've given up on my scorebook, aside from the point that it is absolutely soaked through.
But
Here's the pitch from Dubé. That one's going to be sent deep into left, and it's caught for the second out, but a second run will come home as the ball gets past the shortstop.
Well, Frontier going out fighting, Mason.
That was Olivia Peabody who sent it deep, was able to cash in a run on a sacrifice fly there. We're back at the top of the order.
Now batting second base, number 1,
Haley Doucette Kaplan with 2 outs now and a runner on first. She'll take ball 1 high. Red Hawks with their back against the wall, and their chances for a Western Mass title very, very faint. Swing and a miss. And that's strike 1. 2 strikes away are the Raiders. They've built themselves quite a dynasty with their head coach, Brian McGann. This would be another impressive tally to their resume. Check swing, it'll be a ball. 2-1 the count.
The only other time these two teams will face this season, if both teams, Frontier being the 4 seed, Hampshire being the 2 seed of the NIA tournament, they'll face in the state finals.
Yeah, that would certainly be a rematch for the ages. It's very hard to beat the same team 3 times in a row, as we've seen time and time again. But here's the 2-2. That will be strike 3. Ryan Dubé cashes in the final out against Haley Doucette Kaplan. And the Hampshire Raiders are back-to-back Western Mass champions. They won last year against South Hadley. And after not winning the previous year, 2024, now they are back-to-back. And I suppose you could say, Tom, next year they'll go for 3 in a row, which, unsurprisingly, with Brian McGann at the head, they have done before. A storied team with a great legacy adds another chapter to their book of success. And the Red Hawks will have to look forward to the state tournament and try and recover from a hard-fought loss against the very talented Hampshire Raiders. Final score 11-6 here at Westfield State University, and we're going to get out of this rain. I've been Mason Smith here with Tom Albert. Thank you all for tuning in to this broadcast, and we will see you in the state tournament. Thank you for watching Frontier Community Access Television.
On their respective baselines so we can present these trophies.
200-meter dash.
Could we ask both teams to line up on their respective baselines at this time, please? Thank you. At this time, Site Director Ed Koloshinsky will present the Class B finalist plaque to Frontier Regional Red Hawks. Congratulations. And the 2026 Western Mass champ in Class B, the Hampshire Regional Raiders. And finally, to present the Gary Stacy MVP Award for Class B, With 12 strikeouts today, Ryan Dubé is your MVP for Class B. Congratulations. Parents and fans, if you would like to take pictures, you can do that in the outfield as the field is prepped for the final game today in Class A between Agawam and East Long Meadow. Please, all pictures in the outfield. We're trying to prep the field for the next game. Pictures in the outfield, please. Thank you.